Welcome to the Power of Voices, to the Comedy Hour Live. I'm back, people. Flew in today. It's Anna Marie, and I'm so thrilled that I have my guest, Mr. Troy Rawlings.
What's going on, Anna Marie? How you feel?
It's going good. I mean, you know, I was honored to be the guest on Troy's show last week, on his radio show, his morning show, actually, on LA Radio Now. And basically, I took notes because you get some serious stuff you do on that show.
We have fun.
Yeah, we have fun. But it isn't just about radio.
No, it's not about, no, well, everything you do on radio is about radio. So we do love, laughs, talk, classic jams on the morning show, but then we talk about sex, love, relationships. But if we bring somebody in like yourself, we interview. And
interview and hear what their spiel is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what the spiel is.
See what the spiel is. Because, you know, that was one of the things that, you know, trying to get everybody's opinion, suddenly, you ever notice if you see, like, let's just say your friend buys a red Volkswagen, suddenly the whole world drives a red Volkswagen?
Yes.
And yes. What is happening is that, you know, how the universe works is when you, I guess it's paying attention. So, you know, you being a radio show personality, okay, and obviously I'm working my way to building what I'm doing.
You are radio.
I am a radio show, yeah. But I also have a nephew out in Boston, my nephew Mark, which is why I went back for his wedding, and he works at a radio station, WAAF, in Boston, and we were just comparing notes as to, you know, the differences in radio. You know, where once upon a time back in the day before Clear Channel?
Clear Channel.
Took over pretty much, and radio became more of a syndicated thing, correct? Of more of a larger company owning all the smaller companies.
Largest company owning a monopoly type thing, if you want to say monopoly. But Clear Channel did have a monopoly on a lot of media, period. Billboards, radio, TV was a different animal. It's different conglomerates in TV,
right?
Your Turner, your NBC, your different networks and stuff. But
yeah. Wasn't there a time where, and some of the changes that have happened is the way XM radio also changed a lot of things about radio as well. Being able to access what you want without commercial breaks. The idea of what cable did for TV. The XM radio and all of that, where you could actually go. I mean, here we call it. I do a thing that's based on what you know about comedy, how comedy plays a huge part in everybody's life, whether it be your writing, teaching, which you teach a few courses, right, as far as the radio perspective goes.
The radio piece, I do some teaching on it because I've been involved with, I've been involved with radio not as long as the engineer Lee.
Yeah, we all know
Michaels.
Lee Michaels.
The real Lee Michaels.
The real Lee Michaels.
Somebody in Baltimore right now was like, Lee Michaels in LA too? No, wrong one. We had it's a hilarious joke. He said he sent him gospel stuff. He's like, dang me, motherfucker. I don't do that gospel. I know, he's like, oh, Lord, Lee is terrible. That would be hilarious. So I started radio about 18 years ago. It was 2000, so next year will be 18 years. But I started my marketing promotion online, social media, like email marketing, newsletter stuff, and MySpace interaction stuff in 98. I started all that in 98.
Yeah, I'll say that's 90s.
So I really like the fact that you could get in touch with a large group of people on a regular basis with one hit, bam, and 100% opens, but then it got down to 40 and 20%, and people was like, I ain't reading everything. But at one point in time, it was just like, this is the joint, this is the new way to do things. You don't have to call everybody. Everything, technology and everything took off and changed so quickly. But I was a computer brat that always wanted my pops to give me a modem because I thought it was awesome that you could talk to people in the 80s. You could talk to people in different places, even though you were just typing. You could act. I thought that was awesome. My boy Jimmy up the street had that. So I've always been a techie at heart, on top of the loving people and doing comedy and stuff like that. So I was telling Lee that, my first 2 years, I worked for Clear Channel for 2 years for free. It was the best schooling I could have had.
Wow.
So in putting that with the marketing promotion side and everything else I do, then I started building curriculums, because what I realized is from doing terrestrial radio first and at a big market, Baltimore market, even though it was an AM station, we actually started a show where our ratings was so high from Friday nights from 9 to 11 that we beat the Radio 1 market, the hip hop station 92Q in Baltimore.
That's a big deal.
We had an AM station with a 7 rating because of our show.
An AM station?
Yeah, in Arbitron. So it was, and you know, they bringing us in, they clapping for us and stuff, and I'm not thinking about it till my cousin Breeze, who was working with Radio 1, she was like, I was telling her, they said something about a 7 rating. She was like, not an AM station, maybe a 3, maybe a 4, you know, having 600. And she was like, actually, the Arbitron books came out. She looked at it and she was like, oh my God. She was like, what are they paying you over there? That was the first thing she said. I was like, nothing. I was like the Flavor Flav of, of the station.
I think the whole thing too.
But it was the best training ever.
Right, which has a value within itself, as you try and explain to people when people are talking about the money value of everything. And I guess maybe it's where I am generation-wise, where I see the value in the time.
Right.
You know, where you absolutely, positively have to value. If you're getting knowledge free, first of all, that's all education is you're being given knowledge.
Right.
And learning. What's the difference if you said, all right, before you walk in the door and we're going to do this, you're going to pay just to be here learning, which is what you were saying. It was a great opportunity.
Huge
and
opportunity.
it was free.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and to understand
but
the value
the only
of
difference, the only difference is, and this is what I teach people how to do produce monetizable radio shows and podcasts. And the reason I do that is because I learned, I was like, man, if it's a problem with them paying us, I can find ways for them to pay us. So I made a book of ways we can get paid by doing outside events, by doing this and that. And I told my crew, I was like, I think when we go into this meeting, he's going to say, when we ask him what his plans are for the Praise Cafe and what we're doing, I think he's going to say he didn't have a plan. Because it was a gospel station, but I wanted to I just did a positive format. I didn't do a gospel format. I did a positive format. I was playing some Lauryn Hill, some Joe Scott. I had my man mixing house music, gospel house music, inspirational stuff. We bring people in. We're talking about HPV virus. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about on a station that the show is supposed to be for youth. So the ratings went through the roof because, for one, the good thing about in black radio, how it used to be, if they were listening to a gospel station, they left it on throughout the house. So the ratings were already up. Now, when the kids go to listen to their station, they might listen to a 92Q, they might listen to whatever. But that's what they did. But what really was crazy is that all of a sudden you get this show coming on Friday nights and the young people are listening to it. So the station of it, the ratings are going up. People are tuning in. Some hip hop dude is like, yo, I'm about to go over here and meet up with Troy. He at the station. We're going to go over there and we're going to do some mixes. We just got, do instrumentals. And then we're talking about the topics. So I learned how to create attention, synergy. We're attention whores now. With social media. Yes, we are, right. Yeah, with social media, we're attention whores. So when I'm doing the thing with the radio piece, I'm really trying to show people, look, make monetizable radio. Because most people just go on and start talking. But they don't know about your 15, your 30. And Leah tell you all day, there's a formula to radio. That's why if you're listening to radio in your car and you change the station, you're like, oh, it's commercials on every channel. That's how they pay the bills, the 15, the 30, and the 45. So once you learn that, you say, okay, radio is real estate. So let me go ahead and organize my show according to, no matter what, come at 15, I'm going to take a break, even if I don't have anything to put in there. Come at 30, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to make up a commercial. I'm going to say, oh, this next thing, you like this hair dye I got it? This next thing is brought to you by Shirley's Hair Dye, the best hair dye in the world. Right. And people would joke and stuff like that. But old radio did that. Bob Hope and them used to do that.
Yes, they did.
Dun, 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 just brought to you by Tide. Tide Washington. They singing and stuff. Tide. You didn't see anything.
Right. No,
everything. And Bob Hope made millions doing radio before he ever did a movie, TV, or anything. Bob, I live in Burbank, California. There's not a brick you can set your foot on. It's like
it doesn't have Bob Hope on it.
It's like an alley in New York smelling like pee. There's no way you can step anywhere and Bob Hope's name isn't on Burbank.
Well, wait. I want people to understand this too, because they're like, Anna Marie, you have a comedy hour. What does this guy got to do?
Oh yeah,
you did comedy.
I do comedy.
You do.
I have a show in Maryland. I have a show in the DMV on the 18th. Yeah. I have a show, and if they go to relationshipcomedy.com, they see everything I do. My whole comedy is sex, love, relationships, and everything in between.
Yeah, I wanted to segue into that. Did I leave that over there? I wanted to show that on camera. Let me show people. I brought
and she's really Italian, so if y'all think it was like, why is she talking like that? No, that's really her. That's literally how she is.
I want to show you guys this, and you know, this is your DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where can they buy it?
You didn't buy it. I gave it to you. What did you buy it? You ain't gotta buy it. What's that?
But this is. I'm just trying
you see me like, you ain't gotta buy it. I gotta swipe.
Look at I'm doing a commercial. That's $50 you'll have to owe me after the show. I showed it. But I'm just saying that, you know, to everybody here, which I find was amazing.
What everybody's tuning in. Hey.
Yeah. You know, you have to admit that LA's the land of like, hey, I got a CD. Hey, I got this. Hey, you know, we listen to this. People on the street corner handing out
hustle. That's
CDs.
the hustle.
It is a hustle.
It's a numbers game out there when you do
Very
that.
much so.
I did it on Venice. I did it at Venice Beach. You see us. If you see that pink thing move back there, y'all don't get scared.
Yeah,
that's my daughter.
That's his daughter.
My little one.
Right.
She had to roll with me. She was with me today. So
that has you know, I'm amazed. So you take the CD, and then the guy says, well, you know, do you mind giving me a $10 donation? My family's staying over at the hotel, and I can't afford to pay the bill. And that just cracks me up. Is like, okay, not only did you give me CD, now you're giving me a bunch of bullshit. Because seriously,
it's a hustle. It's a hustle. I went out there. Look, my man Grant Nicholas. Shout out to Grant Nicholas. He told me, I was like, I got my comedy DVDs. I was staying in Brentwood. Don't give me. It sounds weird when I say it, because I went from Burbank, and me and my roommate there were in Burbank, and this was a two-bedroom apartment in Burbank. No money was coming through, trying to get everything together. I'm working, he working. I was like, we just got to find something small. It's just too crazy. It's too much. So I said, well, let me just find a little space. I put something out on an email. Remember, I got this big email list now. My email database, social media, about 50,000 people. So when I started my radio station, people were like, well, how many listeners do you have? I said, I don't know about all that, but I got 50,000 people that's been with me for... These are real people, you know. So if you look on my social media and you search me and you put in comedian Troy Rollins, I pop up. And it's not because I'm spending all this money. So I've just been doing it since '98.
Wow.
So when I got here to California, I had promoters and producers. I was hosting something at the Comedy Union for my man Tony Spies. Big shout out to Tony Spies. He gave me my first hosting comedy gig at a major club here. End Zones, the Comedy Union. And I started doing Saturday Night Laughs, and the promotion and stuff was so hot. The comedians, when I went there, it was like, yo, we thought you were stuck on yourself. I was like, what? Yeah, it was like, because on the flyer, you was like, I was like, no, flyer. I don't know if I'm trying to work the N-word out of my conversation, but I was like, it was a flyer. but yeah, it's like we said, it should be, you know, business comedy or something, or radio business. A lot of times people don't take care of the business side enough. Well, but I like to pour it into people.
You understand that, and I mean, maybe that's the benefit of learning the things that you have to teach. It's I'm sitting in Boston like a second ago, and we were sitting at the table, and it was really interesting to listen to, if you know, people's perspective, not from LA, of what they see and think this is all about. And a lot of people come. They say 250,000 people flock in around every January, young people trying to make it in the business. So, you know, your odds of being found out, discovered, famous, you know, I've never met a comedian that wasn't going to be famous. It's all or nothing, and they believe that's their mission, and, you know, they're driven for this. And I got all that.
Oh, the clubs learn to hustle. When I first got here, Tony was like, and Troy, don't talk to any of the comedians about pay. Because I was the reason I met Tony Spot, and like Hope was here. Hope, good friend of mine. Hope and Lou Nell, love them too. Hope is actually on a tour now. That's funny. Hope is actually on a tour now with Don D.C. Carey. I booked Don D.C. Carey for a show I was producing and a part of, comedy show called the Who's Your Daddy Comedy Show. So it was Don D.C. Carey, Earthquake, Mike Brooks, cat from Baltimore named Mickey Coachella, and myself on the show. And me and Tony became friends because I think Don DC Carey's road manager was hurt. So you're sending your main comedian and nobody's with him. So he doesn't know what's going to happen. This and that. But we paid him. So he was like, "Oh, get that money." So so he was like, "Man, can somebody just meet him at the airport, this, that, and other?" And he was like, Tony was like real worried. I was like, "Yeah, I'm standing in front of him." He was like, "Oh, okay, you got him." I said, "Yeah," I didn't know any other way. So we built a relationship. And when I came to California, I was working on some different things. I was doing extra work. I was doing all this stuff. But I said, plus I didn't come to California to be a comedian. Like, I love comedy, but comedy is like, it's almost second nature to what I was doing. I wanted to see if my live show production skills and everything translated into TV and film. Because I know the power was not just getting on, you have Kevin Hart is doing amazing things. You have comedians that are doing amazing things. But as any comedian will tell you, it's a cattle call when you're a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
They treat you like whatever. But I've never treated comedians like that. And I produce shows and have my own shows in Baltimore. So when I came here, I wasn't about to do, maybe I don't have to pay them as much, but everybody needs to get paid. So I was thankful that I got a lot of respect when I came here. And I never had a problem getting on any stage. And some people was like, "Oh, we didn't see you in a while. Why aren't you at the club? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that?" I was like, I'm just working on building a foundation. When I came here, I said, look, I'm coming from Baltimore, where everybody knows me, to a place where nobody knows me. So I should be, if this is real in my hometown, I should be able to go to California and make some kind of name for myself. But also when I get there, there's some things I want to do. And then, you let God guide you. And what time to do what. And it's not, and like anybody tell you, it's not easy.
No.
But it's worth it.
It's the, that whole idea of everybody, I actually did it backwards. Going back to Boston, I was like laughing at, now my phone's going off for the first time, and they're comedians out here in LA. And, one of them's, "Hey, when you get back, I'd like to talk to you about boom. Hey, when you get back, Anna Marie, where you out of town, boom." And I'm like, wow, that's really weird, because in Boston, that other life that no longer exists, it was really, this time coming home to LA was like coming home. And, the 2 years that I've been out here just trying to struggle with now being nobody. Now, don't forget, my background was in singing and that type of entertainment. And to come out here and think, oh, I'm going to do stand-up comedy. But in doing so, it was just for the fun of it. I wasn't taking anything seriously. A year ago, given this show, it just was something I went, wow, this is something. It just, how it just feels right.
Right.
It asks, it just calls you.
Right. Right.
So
if you're an entertainer, it's gonna be there. But there is a point in time. What's going on? I gotta say what's up to everybody, because y'all are popping in. What's up, Ryan?
They all popping in. Can they see us? Whoa.
Artist is vibrating. I said hi and it started vibrating. I don't know who that was. Somebody was really off the hook. It was like, woo! Terry Sexy jumped in and just a bunch of folks, artists.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice. Okay. What, is this a... Oh, put it in so it don't slide. Here. And put it under here?
Yeah, dude, we weren't going to play Frisbee, winging that around the room.
Oh.
That's really cool.
Lee Michaels, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Michaels. You got some applause. Lee Michaels.
Man with the equipment.
Sexual chocolate.
Well, not that equipment, but the man with the equipment.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's happening. You got your engineer, Captain Engineer up in here.
Yeah, you really, people are like, well, as far as stand-up comedy goes and the comedians, and I've had comedy writers, I have comedy actors, and having, someone of yourself who's like kind of dealing in everything. What fascinated, you were the first person that, other than Royale. Now, Royale Watkins has that business sense.
Good friend of mine. And I got to give a shout out. Royale Watkins, David Arnold, and Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry especially. When I hosted at the Comedy Union, I was hosting and didn't know anybody here. And yeah, I got chops and I'm having fun. I'm feeling myself out. I like to see everybody do good. But Rodney Perry was like, he came up and gave love on the stage and did his thing. And just certain people. Royale is the type of person, if y'all don't know Royale Watkins, him and his wife, beautiful stuff. They got follow after I do online, everything they're doing. I watched as they were doing vlogs and stuff. Then I jumped in and got involved. And we started a movement with Royale and then Anthony Anderson, and the movement we were doing on social media and Facebook. And a lot of people remember this, Mary and Cato and all these people that were involved with it. the movement we were doing, supporting each other, turned into this thing where Anthony Anderson and Royale were doing this back and forth, like beef and memes and just comedy beef, which turned into the mixtape comedy show at the Gotham.
Oh,
in New
yeah,
York.
in New York, where he flies out once a month.
Yeah, but now it's been going on for this next year. It'll be 10 years.
Holy smoke!
It was something we watched them develop, and we were building online. And I've never. It's crazy. I've never been out there to do it. Forgive me, Roy. But and I have to go support. But what I like is like people like Royale. The consistency is
amazing.
Bananas.
Do you know, he's one of the, after having him here as a guest, and the sincerity, because when Royale came in, he was, a lot of the people that have come in after flying. They've been flying all day, kind of like me, and I can appreciate it even more so now.
Hope just said, Hope is on two tours at the same time.
Right. And you know, which she's agreed to come on my show, which is awesome.
I thought she was here for the show. I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But I'm on her Comics Rock convention. I do my forum there.
Which is, it's really true how much everybody thinks this is a huge, yeah. Hey, and
that's one thing I first found out when I got here. I was like,
family.
Hollywood is small. Black Hollywood is minute.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to the comedy store on a Tuesday. This was back when Chris Spencer was hosting. And when I got here in 2008, and that night, Chris Spencer, I think Gary Owens might have hit on stage. Corey Holcomb hit on stage. All these people hit on stage. That's the one thing I found about California. As soon as I got there, it was like, instead of having 3 comics, like a host, a feature, and a headliner, it was like 9 comics went on stage that night. But in the crowd was Bobby Brown, Cat Williams, Eddie Murphy, Johnny Gill, Robin Givens, Faison. It was Takara. It was Black Hollywood. I said, if they had dropped a bomb on there that night, we'd lost all of Black Hollywood. One night. All the 90s would have been gone.
Well, like, you know, and that's what's kind of funny, because people, you know, if you're not familiar with the fact that, okay, a lot of people, where I came from, the idea of
no black comics. No, that's like B-Town. No,
B-Town, right?
But Boston's a hardcore comedy
right?
Place.
But also the idea of seeing just how many black comics are out here in LA. It's like when I went to the comedy clubs and I saw there is so much incredible talent that's out here, and basically the best comics start here, right? And they get fed elsewhere, because if you can make it out in LA, basically, like,
well,
New
the ones
York,
that really have juice, they've usually started their initial grind of. I'm from Baltimore originally. Kevin Hart is from Philly. Royal Watkins is from DC. Rodney Perry, is Rodney from Chicago?
Yeah, a lot of Chicago people.
A lot of Chicago folks.
I was shocked. I'm like, what the hell are they doing in Chicago? Everybody ran out.
But no, it's not just that. But you get your chops and you come out here to get exposure.
Right.
Then you can go back and travel and make your money.
And have it on that name.
But it's like a grind. I think Lisa Lampanelli said it the best. I heard Lisa Lampanelli say it, in comedy, you're even grinding to make $1,000 a week, or you're making $5,000 a show.
Right.
And that was one of the best things
but
I heard somebody say.
So everybody out there understands that is not the norm.
No. That was the thing. She was like, you're breaking your neck to try to make, and mind you, she said it at the height of her career. She said that. But I'm sure she was, getting crazy paid.
I have to laugh because I have to bring this up. Did you see the little clip on Kevin Hart when he's talking from the tour bus? That, of course, obviously they're not going to throw him in the middle of the crowd because he's Kevin, somebody who would be trampled upon and eaten alive.
With the marathon?
And they had the gun.
Yeah, and he got scared.
And literally, you could see, man, that scared the ever-loving shit out of him when that went off.
Yeah, we're not too good around guns going off and stuff like that.
It was hilarious. His face said, oh, man, I almost went home.
We'll stop a conversation quick. He was like, wait.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, what were you saying? We'll stop a conversation. Hold on. We stop everybody.
I said,
Black folks put our hands out and stop everything that's going. What's happening? Oh, okay.
Okay, that was the guy. Man, I was just ready to go home because
you worry about the guy that don't flinch. You're like, yeah, no, that's the car. What's going on?
Yeah, but with everything that he's doing, and that's to me, he's the ultimate of you never stop. I mean, he don't have to do it. He could go.
Yeah,
hey,
some people's
hey,
grind some people's grind and work ethic is unreal. But everybody, you have to find your mode of consistency. You can't say you want something and then you go for it, and then when it gets hard, you stop.
Well, that's the thing.
You just can't. That's what separates. That's what's going to separate successful people in their vein of what they love and what they're striving for from the folks that just, they have a story. Well, yeah, I used to do that, but I started. When somebody starts a story and that story fade the fuck out. Yeah, I used to. When I went, wake up with a microphone.
But and no one understands. I think that's one of the hardest things that. If you're doing this and you're going, hey, so-and-so, you know what I did last week? I was on this and I got that. And people look at you like, really, I don't give a shit. Because basically, if you wait for everybody to validate you, cheer you on, spread your word and do all that, you gotta find you have to find your vein. They say play your position. You just have to find your vein. And I was watching this TED talk, and you gotta stay motivated. Some people say, "Oh, motivation don't work." Well, neither just like what was Zig Ziglar said, and neither just taking a bath. So you gotta do it every day. So you stay motivated. You know what I'm saying? So find one thing you can improve every day. Something small. Just find your level of consistency. You know what? I'm gonna get up and do this every day. And that's what we did with the vlogs on Facebook. And then all of a sudden you got 5,000 friends, and that's what we're doing, and getting exposure to wherever the vein is. Find something you can do consistently and just do that shit you look up. And how many years you been in radio, Lee? 52. Wow. The brother looks 54. Because black don't crack.
And I'm saying, I can see him being a baby. It's like, we just gonna move this mic.
Yeah, but even with what I mean, and I've said.
Oh, and I'll be remiss if I don't say this. Let me make sure I'm saying this, and I don't know if these cameras are still on. But Saturday, November 18th, I'll be in Maryland, Burtonsville, Maryland, doing my Taboo Raw and Cut show. That show, the comedy show. Sex, love, relationships, everything in between. If you've never been to my show, I'm the Tony Robbins of this thing. So be prepared.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Be prepared.
I would like to mind wrestle you on that.
Mind wrestle?
Yeah. I call it mind wrestling when you actually have...
When a woman talks to a man.
When a woman talks to a man. No, that's not necessarily true. To be
get off me, girl, get off! It's like Jacob and the angel. What's your name?
Well... that's
mind wrestle.
Can I ask you, and this is something that I've found to be I don't want to single out and say, black people are so really spirituality and religion. I find obviously there's a lot of different, you could say Italians are like that. But there was something that when I would go, a friend of mine brought me into a Baptist church where the energy. Now, you go to Catholic church, it's like your mother's nudging you not to fall asleep, snore, make noise. You're
if you don't know all the words,
right?
You get
it's like it's like the most. But I almost feel like that 90% of what even white music's about on that idea back in the day. That when you look at the difference, you go to a Baptist church and all that energy and rhythm and passion. I was like, if this is who was meant to carry the message, okay? This is why.
You're really gonna at that now you're gonna make me go into the history moment. But it comes from Africa.
But
you gotta realize it's an African thing, and at the time there weren't many places that Africans who were brought over here, slavery, whatever. The church, and during a time of worship, because remember, these slave masters swore they were being good Christians when they were whipping and doing everything.
That's right.
So the church in the time of worship that they had, and the Bible was the first book that they were really allowed to have. So they, when the white masters and everybody was at their church, they could get together and congregate and they do their music and stuff like that, and the ones that could read was breaking down some scripture, and anybody who still had their traditions dwelled in their traditions. But if they were looking at some of the Southern Baptists was just that. Southern Baptists wasn't just black people that did that. Were white people that preached like that preached and fire and brimstone message, right. And then everybody so everybody had their level of spirituality, but with the culture of black folks came the music, came the rhythm. And when you have so many different, you know, there's what 5,000. She brought me here. I start teaching. It's supposed to be a comedy show. I'm like, I'm teaching like
He's teaching,
there's
but
5,000.
wait, but
if there's 5,000 different, there's 3,000. What are 3,000 tribes, 5,000 languages in Africa.
Oh shoot!
So
Wow.
some of these folks that came over in the boats didn't know each other.
Nope.
And some of them were enemies. And the thing that brought them together was the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not different that even now, I don't care if it's a relationship, I don't care if it's business, I don't care whatever. A lot of times what brings people together, let somebody run up in the church and shoot people. Let somebody run in Vegas and start shooting people.
Man,
let something go on. We
right,
all races, everybody going crazy, but all of a sudden the struggle comes and something hard hits and different tribes start coming together. So
I did have a coined phrase for this last the last shooting, okay? Is everybody's talking about this, and someone said, you know, let them, and there's a huge controversy about, you know, terrorists, this is the people are like, blah, because of what Knucklehead 45 said. I don't even want to say his name, is with the P in front of it, the president, whatever. And I said, you know, my new phrase is white fright, because I'm so afraid of white people right now, because they're the only ones shooting everybody up. I'm sorry. I just see it as like
nobody knows nobody. Nobody knows any names. They just going in there and just.
That's it. And let's take score of, you know, a friend of mine goes, this is funny. He goes, you want to get gun control? If any of these shooters had all been black, we'd have gun control. And I said, you know, it's one of those things where I don't know other than for everything. Hey, would you say hello on my show? Folks, I want you to say hello to this lady. Come over here, Hope.
Creeping in here.
This is
we
like
got one
gift.
girl sleep. This is my. Come here. Come on, sit on Daddy's lap.
Please say hello. Hope.
This is Hope Flood. Follow Hope Flood all over the place. Comics Rock Convention coming up in April.
Yes, and Hope's gonna come on. I told her I need more women on my show.
At the same time. No wonder I ain't getting
She
no
busy though. She busy. She's doing the real deal. Yes. Hey, you going you go over to the Northeast at all, Boston or any of those stores? You ever get out that way?
We're doing the Madison Square Garden, New York.
Shut up. She doing
is that the Queen's tour or the other one?
That's it. Oh man, congratulations. That's awesome.
Is this your first time playing the Garden?
Yes.
She gonna be all that, folks. Yes. We got some funny going
first
on.
time and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's in March.
Is it in March?
It's in March.
Yeah. Man, you gotta hit that up.
Hold up. Let me tell you how bad Hope Flood is. She said she's playing Madison Square Garden, and I think it's in March.
I think it's in March.
Yeah, you've no idea.
Madison Square Garden,
right.
And you think it's in March?
I think
I'd be having I'd have a T-shirt and a tattoo. I'll be in March 29th.
I'm trying to be, humble.
Well, but wait, now you're talking to another person. How long have you been in this industry?
30 years.
30 years. Mm-hmm. So all you knuckleheads that come out here and they're like, yeah, LA, 5 years, making it bigger, I'm going home. Really?
Look, there was a quote I said, 50 comics move to LA, 75 go home. This ain't no joke. First of all, you got to find somewhere to live.
Oh yeah, that.
Hey, the first shoot, February be 10 years I've been here. Mm-hmm. But everybody would end the conversation and they would always be like, yeah, everything. So you don't think you coming back to Baltimore? I was like, why is that even a part of I live here. Mm-hmm. I was like, y'all know I live here.
Well, she's from here.
Well, I've been here since I was 6, so yeah.
Yeah, so you're from here, but you're
you
not
up top too. You're
right.
Oakland.
And that's
no,
not.
I'm from Michigan, Benton Harbor, Michigan.
I mean,
were
you in Oakland when you first came here? You came straight to LA.
I just sent my niece home to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Royal Oaks right now.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
Her honey is a
sit down, girl. You can
border
I
patrol.
gotta go.
She
gotta
go.
I gotta go. I'm gonna come back next week maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I want.
I'll
get your info.
My comics. That's what I did on this show. I talked about the Comics Rock Convention.
The Comics Rock Convention.
That's my comedy.
It started as a women
comics. As the
female comics rock convention. And I remember going and seeing. I was like, yeah, hope this is gonna be. And then she called me back. Hey, Troy, I want you to come and do it. And I couldn't get everything together. And I was like, you know what? I can make it. She was like, go ahead, come. I was like, I'm gonna put a little blast out. You want to put a blast out? I got some packets made. How many people you got there? She's like, it's like 85 people here, Troy. I was like, oh, well, shit, I'll be, all right, here I come. I'm thinking it, because the last time I went, it was 5.
Yeah, now it's like 150 people.
Oh.
Female comedians, they come.
It is not, and when I tell you I'm telling you, if y'all have never, when I'm telling you information from investing to the comic doctors and
Yeah,
people
you
who have
know, you
books
know the
and-
part that you guys all don't know about. It's called the business sense
Oh.
of
what I
doing
teach.
what you're doing.
Oh, it's crazy.
This woman teaches, and you're talking about people who are
Shane
successful.
teaches the class, social
Right.
media.
Shane?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Rodney
yes.
Perry teaches improv class.
Dwayne
The,
Colbert teaches sketch comedy he's from Second City.
the Mooney Twins teach on all the stuff they do.
Okay, guys, the next program.
And then you have comics
That-
that do shows during the evenings with the amateur comics.
Yeah, I have a celebrity host, and we do showcases that all the time.
Well, can I ask you guys, when you're doing all this, the idea of running a paid podcast, so if like, because like I'm telling you, my fam in Boston, their friends that are in the industry, and everybody's sad, how do I get that information? And I'm like, what you're talking about, I'd be like saying,
Well, that's
okay,
what I teach on. When I teach my radio etiquette, I teach people how to monetize.
Radio etiquette class.
And as soon as
right,
I
but
get up there, I let them.
they pay money to come in on your class and watch it,
I
right?
pay him.
You
She
pay
pays me
him.
from
Everybody,
there.
comedians pay, and I pay all my speakers. I pay all my hosts. I feed them. We have a tribute. I'm
Damn.
doing a celebrity basketball
It's
game.
for real.
It's 5 days. It's amazing.
It's 5
So if
days?
you have a
It's
business
5
and you
days.
want a lot of exposure, you need to
I'm
sponsor
going.
the tour.
So when you don't see me for the 5 days, that's where I'm going to be at.
Oh, you got it. I don't
Awesome.
care where. I don't care. Look, what will mess you up if you live here and you decide to just come and you see people from Alabama, Virginia, Canada, Chinese girl from Canada. I had a Chinese sister from Canada, Sylvie, took my class on Skype because she went there.
That's awesome.
You know, and awesome. So yeah.
ComicsRockConvention.com.
ComicsRockConvention.com. Thank you so much, Hope.
Love you, girl.
Class is leaving the building. See that? That's class.
And that's
Someone-
love. You're supposed
that
to, it's
really
supposed to
is,
be,
man.
it's
Feel that
camaraderie.
love.
There's a misconception that there's no camaraderie here in
Well,
LA, especially amongst comedians and stuff, man. And I've had nothing but love here. I haven't gotten any hate
You
or
know-
anything. And when it's time for, and when I do stuff, when I do shows and when I'm hitting the stage, and I go hard. But when I'm doing the behind the scenes stuff, I build, I have a family. Can't tell.
Little one sleeping. They can see her in the back.
It looks like pillows back here. But you have to, if you're gonna do it, because there's a point in time when you make a decision. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it. Keep going.
She don't roll off the chair into the back.
That'll be comedy. That's comedy.
But also with what, like with what Hope was saying about what you guys do, for me, the biggest thing is I keep saying, how do I build that audience? And
Piece
how do you
by piece.
piece by
Here's the thing that
piece.
most people don't do. And I'm glad, I don't mind if you can get jokes anyway. You want to get jokes, go to relationshipcomedy.com. Go to
Right.
my site.
Oh no.
But you can,
ahead.
when you're building, that's my phone. But when you're building, most people don't take the time to go back. There was a guy named Rod Warren that said, Troy, how many phone numbers you got in your phone? I was like, my phone is like 900. He was like, what's 900 times 20? I was like, 18,000? You think I should ask everybody for $20? He said, you should ask them for 100. How much is what you do worth? And most people won't go to the people on the that's what social, I was doing one of my classes yesterday, training somebody. And she was like, if you get in front of, I just don't know what to do. Stop saying that because you didn't know how to drive a car before you learn. So stop saying you don't know what to do. If you put a level of excitement on learning something new, then you'll at least try it. If you look at social media like a badass networking happy hour, that's all it is. It's like if you went down to the W Hotel with a pocket full of business cards, which I used to physically do. 250 business cards on me, bad business cards. My man made them. He black and gold on one side, gold and black on the other. Nice looking. I'm going to make sure all my cards are gone and my pockets are full with other people's business cards. And that was what you did. You go to a networking event. I was Spider-Man. Hey, how you doing? Oh, wait a second. I just want to give you my card and let's talk later. Hey, how you doing? Because you don't got a minute if it's 400 people in the room and the event is 2 hours. You don't have a minute with each person. You have 10
Right.
seconds.
Right.
So I learned how to network before I got on the network.
That's
So
smart.
all social media is a big ass networking happy hour. And that's what I train people to do. I take them through the whole course because I was doing it in the 90s. I was networking. I was going to networking events. I was building my networking business. So now you ain't got to do that because like I told you, I was like, all I got to do is take you and show you how to talk and engage with the people that's already following you. You got, what you got, like 200, 800 followers on Instagram or something like that. If they following you and you didn't pay for them, that's somebody's real. What if just half of them are real people? Just DM, hey, how you doing? Hey, sexy, how you doing? No, I'm trying to get the business thing, sir. You can weave out, but talk to people. We don't even talk to people no more. And the very reason this was made was to make it easier to talk to people.
Well, I'm notorious for, and everyone knows me, I do talk to people. I'll hit them up. I'll share with, if they're going to be playing out, I try and hit, hey, people, check this out. When I've seen their show, I have to make comments. Wow, you're really great last night. And it's like, I'm amazed at how many people are so locked into themselves. Like, there's a couple of people I want to say, hey, dude, I've followed every single thing that you've done. I've reposted everything that you've done. I comment on everything you've done. My friends get to see, so I'm already expanding your audience, and you haven't liked one damn picture on my, and you kind of go, not out of spite, not like, I want you to like me back, but you start seeing, what I want to say is that you do know that in order to, it's a two-way street when you're talking about something that, when people are supporting you. If they
Here's what you have to do, though, because it will stop you in your tracks. You have to give without looking for in return.
Well, that.
Because the reason I say that is because if you get to the point where you're looking, and I know we're rolling out, but we get to the point where you're looking at people to reciprocate, it's not going to come from the same area.
I get that. I don't mean so much as for him to reciprocate, but I mean, you're missing out on people seeing, when people see your reciprocation on your name showing up on under pictures on my page, and I'm the person talking about you, hey, blah, 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 and they're going to keep seeing your name. It's almost like you're reinforcing what I'm saying about you, and boom, there's your name. And all they got to do is go, hey, isn't that guy that Andrew was saying is playing, what was he playing at? Click on his link. All I got to do is click on your name, and your link is going to come up. By seeing that name constantly on your page, I've had my friends friend people because I keep seeing them on my page, the ones that do like me, and they're like, oh, man, I checked out that guy. I kept seeing his name. I was like, who is this guy? And then they go, and then they start following them, because that type of thing, I don't know what it is about people's curiosity, but people are curious.
That's what it is.
Who is this person?
Just imagine you see somebody, and then all of a sudden, it's like a weird thing. I mean, Dave Chappelle did on his Chappelle show a skit on it. He was like, what if the internet was like a real place? You can go in here and go in there, and the porn pop up. You're like, no, oh Lord. And he's like, you want to see this girl get this gold? He was like, dang it, yes, man. And he go in there, so that's how it is. All of a sudden you see somebody who's like, oh, let me see what they're about. You can click on them and see what they're about. So it makes it easier, and you just have to use it to your advantage. You know what I'm saying?
As to what gets you excited. Like, I'm basically, one of the greatest things, and I had it blasted out there, was I get this message, and it's a woman in England. I don't have any mutual friends. I don't know anything about this woman. She says that a poem I had written had been sent to her. And it was at this time in her life, this was very, very, very special and very neat, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was the greatest feeling in the world, that somebody I never met before across the world is reading something I wrote, and she's finding inspiration from it. What second happened was my friend goes, did you copyright that? Are you putting your name? Are you doing any of this? I think we had this conversation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, is that a problem? Yeah, anybody can take your words that aren't registered, and they own them.
Yep.
So 1 billion poems you're posting?
Let me tell you something that happened that's funny, and it's a little different scenario, but I have a friend named Bridget Austin Smith. She's in Baltimore. At the time, she was a head CAD designer for McCormick, the spice company in Baltimore. And her and her friends made this game that was like a Baltimore City version of Monopoly. And they were playing it at work online. They designed the game, designed it playing online. And I guess they were passing it off to people. And somebody in management took and copyrighted it. So the Baltimore Monopoly game that people see when they go downtown in the harbor and they buy, that was actually created by some people playing. Stolen. If you don't copyright it, free. You're putting out there for free. You send it to my email.
But see, a lot of people don't realize, and is that the same formula for, all right, the jokes, when you write jokes, everybody talks about how everybody steals jokes.
What I tell people, and I've been telling them this for years, if your jokes, because like comedians get upset, and they should, because that's how they make their money. I mean, people are gangster. I was hosting a comedy night where I was doing different things and trying stuff out as the host, and watch a comedian come behind me and talk about the same thing and do the same thing. Yeah, like he was saying, man, what about this? And I was like, is that and the older comics was like, no, he ain't supposed to do that, bro. But also what helped me a lot is because everybody has their different their thing, their niche. I love talking about relationships and stuff because my mission in life is to help men and women communicate better in love. But I also love improv. I love spontaneity. I love what happens in the moment. I'm kind of like, Robin Williams and people like that. I love seeing what happens in the moment. So my show, I'll do a lot of improv in my show. Sometimes I'll be called in to do certain things. I'll just do sets and I'll work on certain things. But if I'm doing a show, and some people may think it's crazy, but I will do a show with an audience for 2 to 3 hours.
Wow.
But it has to be engaging if you're going to do that. I'm not just up there telling jokes. I'm engaging, and I'm making whatever the situation is funny. But that's where I come from, though.
That's also an art, too. I mean, I only know that because the nature is if it wasn't, people wouldn't be so fascinated with it. It'd just be the same old, same old.
Yeah, and that's why I like. And the only reason I really got into doing more of an open show like that, because for years I was doing all these different shows and had all these people. Some comics live and die by their set, which is no problem. But I loved like people like Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac would go. He would play with his material, throw different things, throw your clothes in at the beginning, do different. You hear about stuff like that. And I used to see people who really. I used to be able to see a comic that I was working with 7. He may do, we do 7 shows in a weekend, and he do all the same jokes back to back, same way. They just make their money and get out of there, and it's cool. But I'm like, I come from a place where people come back with friends. So when I would go up there and be doing comedy, it's like, oh yeah, Troy, what up, man? We here, man. I brought some more people back. And you go up there and it's like, yeah, we heard that the other night, man. And you start hearing that, it's like, well, you go on stage. I had this one Incredible Hulk dude. It was like, girl was like, do the Incredible Hulk joke. I was like, let me work on this other stuff. And I cover Baltimore, so the crowds are different. But it was good because what it made me do is, my job as a comedian is to make you laugh. So sometimes the crowd makes it easy, but that depends on who you are. Some people hate the crowd. I think I want them to feel like I feel like I love people, so I feel like I want them to be a part of the show, and it makes it more entertaining for me, and it makes me want to go. I get off on that, so it makes it more entertaining for me if someone tries to heckle, or if someone gives me something. Because I've seen comics go off on people and they weren't like the Michael Richards incident. Remember that when he called the guy the N-word and well, the guy who actually said something wasn't the guy that he pointed out and ripped.
Oh, he got it wrong.
He got it wrong. He was all over the place. But I've seen comics do that. Somebody say, "Yeah, you're right about that." I'm saying, "What'd you say?" And they was cheering. They were actually with you.
And right.
But they heard somebody talk,
so
and they were so hyped. They go at. I was like, you got to be present. Yeah, it's like that in life. I was like, I like to be present to see what's going on because somebody may give me something gold, and I'm like, we can rock and roll. So
let me ask you this: I would love to have an experience. Maybe we could start a show.
You can do what to a show?
Start a show.
What
if we had a show that took comedians that will go out and take regular people, write scripts, have like a competition like The Voice does or all that, where they pick their teams. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick people to make comedy skits out of, to put them on stage as comedians.
You need to stop talking about it.
Oh, okay.
Did we just talk about that? Somebody said like, that is a good idea. Let me go. We got producers and TV people. We got people from all over watching right now.
Oh, really?
We got act. I just got David Royce Shannon. What's going on, David Royce Shannon? He's the actor in the middle. You telling TV folks an
I'm
idea.
One of those
hush.
people.
Yeah,
every show, everybody goes, Emery, stop talking.
Yeah, well, because she do it.
Do it. It sounds like a good idea.
See, how about we do this? And
That's LA, though, right? Take a name, take a number. You know, the whole thing that somebody said to me, have you ever thought about getting a job in where they pay people just to come up with ideas and think? And I'm like, there couldn't be a job like that. I mean, they really don't have a job where people are just...
They have think tanks and brain...
And they're like, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And to be pulled into that...
There's a company called Bright House. Years
Really?
ago, it was in Inc. And I think they were making like $50,000 for a 1 week quickie and $500,000 or $300,000 for something. Bright House. They just, come up that, sit in a boardroom and they come up with ideas. The ad stuff. When you see movies like Boomerang or What Women Want, who I love Nancy Myers, but they're the same movie, Nancy Myers.
Well, wait.
I'm a rom-com fan.
I just have this thing about, I just have a thing about, we were talking about this. Why is it that the movie companies, everybody follows a formula? It's the same formula. Different characters, boy meets girl, boy hates girl. They have a romance, they have a fight. Boom, they get back together.
Or whatever it is. It's if you have all of a sudden you have 18,000 Law and Order shows, you have crazy amounts of whatever. Well, the industry is a business,
right?
And the folks that write for the industry, the folks that produce for the industry, stuff like that,
they stay with what works.
They got to make money.
Right.
So I understand the more you get involved with any part of the industry, you realize, okay, that's why. But if you say, oh, somebody got to do something original, that's cool. But you have to build your audience and make sure it's monetizable, or just do it for art.
Well,
if you're doing it for business,
right,
these people have big houses in the hills of Burbank and Hollywood. They gotta. He was like, what you working on now? Oh, I'm working about 15 cop shows and working on this, that, and that.
Oh yeah. I've actually met some of those people, but like when Survivor first came out, no one had ever done anything like that.
No.
But
Real World. Look what Real World did to TV.
Okay, but all the shows that branched off of that.
Yeah, and Viacom just look what's so funny. There's a generation that doesn't realize that MTV stands for music television.
Right. Oh, I isn't that awful?
There's a generation.
It don't even
there's
look
a generation
like that
that don't even realize VH1 and MTV used to play all music videos and music
I thought
shows.
It was wonderful.
Oh, it was the greatest thing
I can't believe
ever.
they took it all away.
Well, because what started paying the bills was reality, and it changed with Real World.
Right.
You got people on there, real people that said another, and the first day they started hooking up on camera and just put the sheets over you. Oh, yeah, we got this on tape. And the ratings go through the roof.
Great, yeah, right.
And then Flavor Flav done made them so much money. Woo. Flavor Flav changed the game. He put black folks on the map of reality. No, but I take that back because I think, was it Tammy Roman? Tammy Roman was actually on one of the first Real Worlds, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a comedian. She had an incident with a comedian, David something. I forgot the brother's name. He's still doing comedy now. But it kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all can hit me up later about this, and he's probably looking on my Instagram like, man, why you going to bring up this story? I've been going good so far. But they were doing something when they were running around the house, and I think this is Real World, and he pulled her, she got out the shower or whatever, and he pulled her towel or whatever, or her sheet or towel, whatever she's covering herself with, and dragged it, snatched away from her. And it looked like fun and games, this, that, and other, but she really got offended. And because she was, at one point in time, she was naked.
Very exposed, yeah.
She was exposed, and she got embarrassed, she got offended, this, that, and other, and they ended up kicking him off the show. Well, he was a comedian doing a lot of stuff before that happened. But you got to see how quickly reality television, which is scripted television, became, and they can build beefs and stuff like that, and there's all beefs and stuff like that, but believe me, all these people get paychecks to come to their house. All the people sign contracts to reveal certain things, and so yeah, it just, that's a prime example. That's why it took over. It's about the money. It does go back to the money. So when we do get a chance to create, some people don't like Tyler Perry stuff. It all goes back to because Tyler Perry is getting paid, and he's doing a certain quality of programming where you don't have to worry about seeing too much stuff, even though he still pushed the envelope, stuff like that. But so if you don't like certain things because it's repetitive, it's just business. It's just business. People got to still eat. So
yeah, I had the when I was on your show, and it was funny because everybody was going to the Comedy Store that night. I had to pack and get up early. So usually I go to the Comedy Store, and Nichelle, who is an incredible...
Nichelle Murdoch is amazing.
I'd like to give
Nichelle
her a
Murdoch
shout out.
got me my first... she plugged me into J. Anthony Brown because they knew I was producing music and comedy shows.
At the J-Spot.
And I started doing Late Night Live with Troy Rawlings at the J-Spot, a streaming show. It was like my version of a late night show, Arsenio Hall show. How much time we got? We good? How we negative minutes.
He's known for that, though.
But, huh?
And I don't want to point that out
What?
because when everybody talks about him, he's the guy...
J. Anthony Brown?
that also gives new people nobody's heard of.
He wanted to.
No
he
one
wanted
else.
to
He
do
gives
something.
you the opportunity.
It was the amazing thing we did, and we had a ball doing it for we did like 7 weeks, and the greatest musicians in the world were coming out, stuff like that. We had no kind of budget. We had a small budget, but it was a great opportunity to really see how this streaming animal worked, because we would get 100 people streaming. We get more people streaming than were physically there. And this was 2010.
Wow.
2009, 2010, right. And so it was a different experience. So each time you have, if I could leave people with anything, each time you have an opportunity to do something different, at least try it.
Right.
At least try it.
Absolutely.
Put your foot in there. Don't be so quick. One of my greatest mentors, when I was moving here, she said, don't be so quick to say no. And it was the greatest advice she could have gave me. Because you get to go back and pull everything. Now, you got to have some. I can do some shit. So I can turn something out of nothing. And if you've never had to have experience to build from nothing, then you might not have enough grit to be here.
Well, that would be me when I came here.
Nothing.
I came
we know,
here with
if y'all haven't heard her story, Lord have mercy.
nothing. But listen, Nichelle, I've wanted to get in touch with. I've hit her up. She talked about Skyping in. I said, I'd really like to have you on the show. I'm looking forward. I've put the shout out to her. Next week, the comedian we have coming on, I've already got my producers, already got them lined up. You are awesome. I'm really, really hoping, because I'm going to take some lessons from this guy and learn how to do things right. He's a real deal, folks. He's not some
Put some
dream
headphones
seller.
on her so she can hear some music and stuff.
Yeah.
We got to go? Okay, we got to go.
It's that my,
Look at the eyes.
he plays out
happening?
my fade out music. Thank you guys. Tune in next week. Hopefully I'll be here and not across the world. Ta-ta for now.